ladies and gentlemen. Coming to the end of this conference, and I would like to thank all the participants, audience, and also the exhibitors for the valuable communication, networking, and also for discussing the key aspects of the desalination and the future of the desalination in the region. So it's my pleasure to welcome you all on this panel discussion, on which we will discuss the cutting-edge advancements in desalination technologies and the innovative approaches to brine valorization, and also the synergistic integration of these two critical areas. We look forward to a stimulating and insightful discussion with our panelists. Please allow me to welcome Mr. Rosario Blazetti, the Engineering Manager for Sustainable Water and Power Consultants. He has 15 years of experience in the Middle East in water and power projects. He is a holder of a master's degree in chemical process engineering. Also, please allow me to welcome Engineer Latifa Lashain, the head of the Desalination Center of Excellence and Deputy Head Engineering and Technical Support for ENGIE. She has 17 years in the region with water treatment background and experience. And she is a holder of a chemical engineering master's degree. Last but not the least, Mr. Julio de la Roca, the Development Director of Acciona in the Middle East region. He is an environmental engineer with a bachelor degree in business administration. He is based in the Middle East for 14 years now. Thank you, esteemed panelists, for joining this panel. And actually, the topic of the brine and brine treatment processing, and it has been debated in many forums, in many conferences, and this is basically because the environmental aspects and the economic integration of in the business models for the desalination is becoming very interesting, and it is becoming very crucial in order to ensure the sustainability and also the sustainability of the desalination plants, and also the importance of having environmental friendly infrastructure. So the first question for the panelists, we are going to address the fundamental need for brine valorization and in the desalination plants. And let me start with you, Rosario. Considering your experience in the desalination, if you can elaborate for us about the importance of the brine valorization in the desalination plants, and why do we need to have, to integrate the brine valorization in the implementation of the desalination plants?
Thank you. There are two main aspects about the brine valorization. One is for sure the environmental impact. We have here in the Middle East, all the desalination plants are in Red Sea or in the Gulf, Arab Gulf, are located on the coastline. So consider that these two seas are very close sea, because you don't have let's say a quick mixing with the ocean currents. So we have to consider as a lake more or less these two seas. We have the Strait of Aden and the Strait of Hormuz, so there are no quick mixing with the ocean. You can so if we are continuing to discharge brine at higher concentration, around 70,000 milligram per liter, taking seawater 40,000 milligram per liter, for sure the trend is to increase the salinity. Some study has been conducted in the UAE. With the actual situation of the desalination plant, the trend is to increase 1,500 to 1,000 ppm in the next 10 years. So it is not a, let's say, it's not a big number, but is very important for the delicate equilibrium that you have in the marine ecosystem. In fact, there are two cases. One is in the Red Sea, where the coral reef in some region are completely destroyed by the little increase of salinity, so modifying inevitably the equilibrium of the life, marine life. And another case is here in UAE, in Ras Faluha Lagoon, in the northern Emirates, where close to the brine discharge has been noticed a quick extinction of mangrove around close to the coast. Also, this is has a huge impact in the marine environmental. However, we are not discharging only concentrated seawater. So the brine that we discharge is also containing all the chemicals that we are adding, for example, antiscalant. So these additional chemical we are discharging to the sea, and also there are some heavy metals that can be discharged due to degradation of a material, and these are going to enter in the food chain of the life, of the marine life, changing the equilibrium inevitably. However, the brine valorization is not only an environmental necessity, is also an economical and technological improvement. So, driving to a circular economy where waste become wealth.
Thank you, Rosario, for this insightful discussion, and also for highlighting the importance of, maintaining and the environmental aspects, and also highlighting the impacts on the environment. Because, as you know, that the environmentalism is becoming the new religion for the whole world, and it is important also to highlight that in the past we always have this blind spot. We couldn't see the real environmental impacts of the desalination, but now after more research and more emphasizing by different policymakers on the importance of the environmental impacts, it is becoming very crystal clear that the environmental impacts should be considered in the desalination. Yeah. Yes. Just if you can give us a quick overview about what are the latest advancements in the brine valorization technologies, and how do they contribute to recovering valuable resources such as minerals, metals, and bioenergy from the desalination plants?
Yeah, we attend a lot of presentation during these 2 days about the brine valorization, and the biggest potential is for sure the mining, the direct mining from brine. There are some good technology for recovering light metal like lithium and magnesium from the brine, and I want also to highlight some biodiversity energy, because there are some studies, some research that are exploring the feeding of brine to allophilic microorganism that can digest brine and produce biofuel. This is a very good advancement in sustainable energy. However, the point is there is no regulation in the Gulf about the brine valorization, and this is reflecting also in the fact that the cost of mining for brine is for large scale, for sure, for large scale plant is very high. The desalination operator are reluctant to invest in something that they don't have to do because there is no regulation. And consider that all the GCC countries, Saudi, Qatar, UAE, Iran also are sharing the same environment, so they have to cooperate, they have to, let's say, invest in sharing technology, and so that they have to invest in collaborative, they have to collaborate to create something more sustainable.
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, it is important also to highlight, the knowledge and the technologies transfer from, among different countries, especially countries that are sharing the same environment and having a similar context, because we are living in an ecosystem, and if, one ecosystem, if some disruptions happened anywhere, it could affect, the whole, the other countries and also the whole region. So moving to Julio from Acciona, I would like to ask you, Mr. Julio, as a General Director for Acciona, and your mission in Acciona is to lead the transition towards a low-carbon economy. So I would like to hear also from you your insights, from Acciona perspective on how can environmental impacts associated with mineral extraction from seawater, and how can they be mitigated, and if you have developed certain policies or certain code of conduct in Acciona to address this issue.
Okay, thank you very much, Bouran, and thank you very much to the organization for inviting Acciona. Going to how to, let's say, improve the impact or reduce the impact of environmental impact of the desalination plant regarding brine. The first thing I would like to highlight is to try to reduce the concern that we have about the impact of the brine. It's not that till now companies and desalination companies, we have been pumping brine without thinking twice about the impact. First of all, what is the brine? The brine is water with double concentration of salt. Here in the Gulf, maybe reaching maximum 85, 90 grams per liter. This is the dangerous liquid in which you are boiling your seafood. So be careful at the time of boiling seafood at home, because maybe, and as well, I was curious. I attended 2 months ago an event in the same panel was one gentleman speaking about nuclear energy, and the following one was speaking about desalination. I was really curious to see that nuclear energy is a clean energy, and nobody speaks a single word about nuclear waste. It has totally disappeared. And the blame about destroying the planet is all of them inside the desalination sector now. It's something that maybe we shall try to oppose to. But answering your question, how can we reduce the impact, the environmental impact? First, producing less brine. Way to do so is to increment the recovery ratio for desalination plants. How to do that? We saw yesterday that the sector is moving forward in the direction to produce more efficient materials, getting a higher rejection of salt, right? Then, when we have the brine, what Rosario said is totally true. We are disposing in the sea brine along with chemical that is mandatory to be neutralized in order to get environmental approval. We are not just pumping chemicals into the sea. We are pumping chemicals that are previously neutralized and controlled. So another step is to increase the technology and the way in which we are neutralizing this brine. Third point, maybe to introduce what we told already about the circular economy. This is very important. we should get in contact with the industrial sector to see whether this brine that we are producing can be reutilized in any industrial process and to make it economically viable. Okay. Agriculture, as well, Rosario mentioned as well, we need to speak with the agriculture sector. Many universities in the world are working already developing plants that are tolerant to high salinity water. So maybe it's another way to produce food with this brine, maybe. And as well, maybe in this country specifically, to re-inject this brine into the aquifers as a way of recover those aquifers that are getting deplenished. And as well, I would like to highlight another point, and as I said in one panel that we shared before, I'm missing here the day that we have here close to me a gentleman belonging to the mining sector. I will start to believe in that this brine mining is going to be something done in the short term. We are speaking internally in the water sector, but we are missing to bring with us the mining sector.
Yes, exactly.
If the mineral production of the desalination plant is so promising, I'm missing someone calling to the door of our desalination plant from any mining company. And at least in the case of Acciona, it has not happened so far.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Kholio, for these insights. And actually, yesterday also, I remember we had a panel about the policies and strategies to enhance the desalination water stewardship in the country, or in the MENA region in general. And I remember that we highlighted, being environmental friendly and being sustainable doesn't contradict with achieving profits, or with being economically viable, and also with implementing bankable projects. So I would like to go to Latifa. Latifa, it is important, as you know, that when we develop and when we are trying to implement a desalination project, we usually have a business model, because desalination, in fact, is as an investment. So I would like to see how can we integrate the brine valorization technologies into the existing desalination plants, and how can this integration offset operational costs and improve the profitability of the desalination investment?
Thank you very much for the question. Thank you for inviting me for this very interesting panel. As you mentioned and as you introduced, I think that the brine valorization, or brine mining as we used to call it, is a topic that we see coming up in, I think, 100% of all the desalination events right now. So a lot of questions are around the viability, around the economy, around the environment. And I do agree actually with what Kholio has said. I think that the main limiting factor for such things to happen, to be economically advanced or not, is to identify what is the need. Because when you look at the brine, you can extract so many minerals, you can extract chemicals, you can extract a huge variety of products. So before identifying what is the real need and where is the market, because it's above what a desalination developer can say, because it's the market that talks, we need to see what do we want to extract in this brine. And the few research or few desk studies that we've been doing so far within NG, because it's a topic that within the Center of Excellence, obviously, we are looking at very seriously, is to see up to which level we are stopping the technology. If you look at the technology of brine mining, is a succession of different steps, right? And these steps is adapted or changed according to the mineral you want to extract. So for the lithium, for instance, you have to go up to the end of all the chain of extraction before getting it. So obviously, all the steps will be much more costly, right? So, so in terms of economy that needs to be studied, obviously there is the whole technical aspects and what process needs to be put in place. You have the electrolyzers, you have the nanofiltration, you have the crystallizer, you have the super high pressure system. So you have a lot of very costly processes that needs to be implemented. So in terms of economy, those technologies, even though they are obviously proven technologies used in this application, are not yet implemented on a large scale. If you look at, for instance, which entity is a bit advanced on that, on putting in place pilots in NEOM, for instance, and you have different steps that have been implemented to try to evaluate what is the recovery, what is the cost, what is the operation cost as well. So in terms of economy, the challenges that I see are on the cost of this technology, obviously, to be compared to the desalination plant, because it's something that will use some similarity with the desalination, but it's in somehow a parallel business. It's a parallel development technologies. So whether the same EPCs can be used or not, this is a big question mark, maybe to Julio. I don't think so. There is a different risk, different guarantees, different part of the brine mining that needs to be looked at. But beside that, which is costly, so for the moment we can read articles or on the desk exercise that I told you we've been doing, we see that if we retreat 100% of the brine that goes out of a standard desalination plant, the cost, the capex only for this plant can go up to twice a cost of a desalination plant. So that's one of the aspects of the economy that we need to inject into the financial model. Then there is the land aspect. The land aspect is a subject that would be put in the table when it comes to the existing plants. Okay, you have the upcoming plants, you have the new IWPs, where if by regulation or by request we have the mandate to develop the brine mining, I guess that the land will be given to us. But for the existing plant, there are majority of them in the middle of industrial area, and so to try to repump and retake the brine from those existing facilities will be an additional cost, and I think it's not negligible. There is also, out of the studies that we've been doing, the power consumption out of those technologies that are really high and that are trying, that are now showing, again, I don't want to give a ratio that might scare everyone, but that viable only if they are coupled with renewables. Yeah. So all those aspects are to be considered when you do the economy and the financial model, but again, the limiting factor is up to where the technology needs to stop and who are really the off-taker or the buyer of those projects. Then, obviously, as Rosario was said, there is some savings and there is some advantages into it. So there is the circularity or of the chemicals, for instance. You can extract some chemicals, sodium hypochlorite or some other chemicals that are used within the desalination plant to extract from the brine and use it. So this is an operation savings that you can see. There is also the part of if I'm taking the brine and putting it in another system, then I'm saving all the outflow system. So all the huge pipeline that we see now popping up, I would say, within the desalination business would be a saving, and it's clearly a capex saving within the cost of developing such project. But in a nutshell, in my view, the business model should integrate the right level of technology, should integrate also the part related to the power consumption, so it should be viable if it's basically hybrided with renewable energy. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Latifa. Actually, this is quite interesting points, and I understand that the most important thing, it is not about the economic benefit or the economic viability of the desalination at the whole process, but the economic viability of the brine treatment itself. I mean, there should be some, the cost recovery for, processing certain minerals or certain metals, is contingent about their economic benefit. And also, you mentioned the power consumption. We are going, since we are speaking about environmental friendly infrastructure, so the power consumption should also be considered. I would like to go back to Mr. Julio. As mentioned by Latifa, I mean, there is some sort of integrating other sectors in the investment of the desalination, specifically for the brine treatment and the brine processing or brine mining. For instance, the lithium, it can be used for batteries, and also we have the water, energy, food nexus approach, where we can, the treated water can be later used for agriculture. And you also mentioned the importance of having a mining sector. So in my opinion, I think the most important thing is, the highlighting of the role of the government, because the governments usually coordinate among the other sectors. So if the desalination, for instance, is dominated by the water and energy sectors, it's the responsibility of the government to coordinate and to facilitate the investment of other sectors into the desalination. So I would like to hear from you, since now we are, in this event we also have some representatives from the government. I would like to hear your insights about the role of, the government, and in shaping the policies and regulations to promote the sustainable mineral extraction from the seawater. And also the most important thing, how do you think, the governments in the MENA region can help in coordinating among the other sectors rather than the water and energy sectors?
Thank you very much. Yes, you are absolutely right. The government has a crucial role in the current situation of the brine mining sector. Okay, if anyone thinks that only private company can take the brining technology to the point that we all desire, is going to be simply impossible today. So we already mentioned yesterday, we are, and Latifa said, so the first conclusion is that the technology to implement the brine mining is in place. Can we get better technology? Yes. Along the road, we will get to better technology, improving the efficiency in the brine mining. Can we get it by $0.5 liters? No. No. Can we get it by 1.5? Yes. 1.5 is expensive, yes. If you think that to pay for 1,000 liters of water the same that you are paying for a Coke, yes, we are in a disaster. We are in a really disaster as a sector. But for this, to make the sector to understand this, that if you want sustainability is something that you have to pay for. I have been in many panels speaking about sustainability, and when you start to speak about the economical part of the sustainability, they look at you saying like this: I'm sorry, but we are in the world that we are. Everything has a price, even the sustainability. And we need investment, and we need the help of the government, first defining the right legal framework. Legal framework, for sure, to defining under which condition a desalination plant can dispose the brine in the sea, if that is the case. But as well, to define potential, let's say, scenarios of cooperation between the private company, between the government, including the mining companies, because Latif already said we need to understand the needs. We need to understand what the sector of the mining needs. And to, let's say, implement incentive as well, not only for the water sector, but for the mining sector, saying, look, it's very difficult when you are doing something for the last 300 years, it's very difficult to make anyone to change the way of doing things, because, it's difficult. But maybe the government is the tool for this mining sector to make them think twice, as the water sector and the desalination especially, as an alternative source of minerals. And for this is for what we need the government in this scenario.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe I can just jump in here. I do agree that obviously as a developer and I guess also as an EPC contractor, or also as an O&M company that wants to operate such IWPs, all of those very big companies, and I think that nobody will contradict me on that, we all have a huge target in terms of sustainability, in terms of net zero carbon. So the aim is there. So we want to do better, but in the end of the day, we want to also win the project. So if a direct requirement is not coming and the framework is not put in place for all the developers or all the EPC contractors to be treated at the same level while developing or suggesting anything towards sustainability, obviously nobody will put it in place. Nobody will put it in place. Obviously, I do agree with whatever and all what Julio has said in terms of putting in place a framework, which is for us a limiting factor. We do analyze the risk and we do analyze what kind of guarantee we can get from the off-taker while we develop a project. But in addition to that, I think that we need to consider the advantage of going towards this sustainability or trying to treat the brine towards the lenders, which are one of the main stakeholder here. So they are just looking forward to be able to help on developing desalination plants that can use more green aspects of the project. So I think that all those aspects, so private sector, government, the off-takers or the industrials that needs to buy those minerals needs to sit in the table together with the lenders and to put in place such framework.
Yes. Where's, you can give a mic.
Said that everybody has dreams about brine valorization. So, for instance, we recover lithium. There is no lithium in the brine. There is lithium oxide or lithium carbonate or lithium hydroxide. And then you can imagine 1 ton of brine where you can extract 10 grams of lithium. And what do we do with the 999.9% of brine? So that is a question that perhaps even those that push for the environment has not yet fully understood. Thank you for highlighting this one, gentlemen.
Thank you, Dr. Somariva, for the feedback. And actually, I see, the role of the Ministry of Investments, and also, I see a lot of ministries that should be engaged. Also the Ministry of Legal Affairs in some countries, the Ministry of Investment, they suppose, to establish laws and regulations that ensure that all these sectors will work together without having a conflict of interest or having contradictions, because it is important to ensure that we are not going to create more problems if these sectors come together and work on a desalination investment. Also, I would like, one of the important thing I also would like to emphasize is that the implementers, the implementers for the desalination projects, the engineering firms. We also have, for instance, we have the FIDIC, and also we have the ISO, and these, globally known standards should be, highly introduced to the implementation of the desalination projects, because although they are sometimes very generic, especially when it comes to the desalination, but at least if we have, the sense of the environmental conservation and environmental management in our projects, and we can benchmark and we can, move forward in ensuring the environmental sustainability of the projects. I would like to come back to you, Latifa. You talked about, right now, all, the brine treatment and or the brine mining, initiatives are on a small scale. So I would like to hear from you, how can the government incentives and policy frameworks support the commercialization of the advanced desalination and brine valorization technologies and making them more economically viable for large-scale implementation?
Yes, I think that this complements a bit what we already mentioned earlier, but I think that one of the big topics, as we are all agreeing on the fact that the scalability is still a topic, choosing the right technology is a topic. Again, I do believe that we can use some proven technology system already in place to go to brine mining. But I think that where the governments and where the framework needs to be also in place is to help the R&D. So if there is a real need to go towards the brine valorization or brine mining, I think that this should be a first step to try to finance some initiatives towards R&D to make sure of the viability of the system and the scalability of it. So then I think that what we shared earlier, Julio and myself, in terms of framework and regulation, something needs to come out really clearly in terms of requirement, what is expected within the overall framework, if it's implemented within the same desalination framework, meaning that on an IWP, we have what we call a WPA, which is a water purchase agreement. But right now, if we develop a brine mining or brine valorization, whether the reselling of the minerals would be integrated into the WPA or would be done in a parallel document needs to be put in place. Who are all the stakeholders? Who are the off-takers? Are we having a guarantee from the off-taker that those minerals can be sold at a fixed price for a long period of time. The frameworks that we see, be it in KSA or in the UAE, we have a contract term of 25 to 30 years. So the volatility of all those minerals that we see right now in the market, and without introducing the brine valorization, is not for such long period of time. So are we ready to put in place such thing? Are we ready to get the guarantees out of the governmental entity in terms of quantity, but also in terms of unit price? This is one of the big question mark that still needs to be treated. Yeah.
Yes, I think what you're trying to say that it is important to first study the market demand for certain certain minerals or certain metals or the byproducts from the desalination in general. And also, I mean, for instance, sometimes I mean the investors or the off-takers, they are quite reluctant to having large scale or upscaling of their investments when it comes to the brine treatment in the desalination. And we usually say that there is always a risk in any investment, but there is also there are also many opportunities. And I would like also to re-emphasize or reiterate on the importance of having specific laws and regulations for the private sectors and the investments in order to enable them to feel more secure when they are investing in or upscaling their investment in the brine treatment. And also, one of the other aspects, that I would like to emphasize is that the investors themselves should be aware of the environmental impacts and also the importance of having environmental aspects integrated in their businesses. So as we are having a well-tightened environmental friendly investment. Also, sometimes, we hear some investors that are actually more, cautious about the O&M, the operation and maintenance cost, when it comes to, the long process of the different levels of the technologies for the brine, the brine mining, especially if we have some, the EPC contracts or also the contracts where they are asked to operate the plant for quite a long time. So this is also very important. I would like also, since we are running out of time, would like to give 1 minute to each one of you to give us just a quick takeaway for the audience. I will start with you, Latifa. What would you like to say?
Thank you. So again, thank you for all this panel. I think that we can go on for the next hour discussing about the topic. So just to emphasize that indeed this is a topic that is hot, but in all the market chain, be it from the off-taker side, the regulator, the environmental authority, from the development, EPC, O&M, even consultancy that needs to bring their knowledge in terms of what can be put in place for such framework. So in my view, there is still a lot to be done. A lot of exchanges needs to reach a mature level for the implementation to really happen. Yeah, if I can conclude that.
Thank you so much, Latifa. Rosario?
Yeah, thank you very much. So, in conclusion, at the end, since the global push to sustainability, we speak about this, is real, shall be real, must be real, but it's costly. So I think government, they have to take a good position at very high level to regulate everything.
Okay, thank you. Holly,
Yeah,
please,
for me, just to say that it's time for all the stakeholders to work together to find out which is the reality behind this brine mining, the reality. I don't know which one is, but should be a reality. It's very true what Corrado said, that it's a coin that has two sides, right? He speak about the lithium, meaning that sodium that with 10 average desalination plant we can cope with the demand worldwide. And it's as well, government is very important. It's time for companies like ENGIE and Acciona that are heavily including this brine mining to be awarded maybe at the time of selecting the company to move forward with the development of the desalination plant.
Okay, thank you. Also, a quick takeaway. I think one of the important things is that the R&D, like what has been mentioned by Latifa, the R&D is very important because technologies has no limits, and mean we can go whatever we want, but we need to know exactly what do we want, and what are we planning to do with the brine treatment. And I see that we finished on time, and I think everyone is hungry. So I would like to bid a warm greeting for our panelists. You did a great job. Thank you so much.